Dear students, welcome once again to this new session. In the last session, we have discussed about pedigree analysis. What is important for you in pedigree analysis? Thing is, you have to know the definition, you have to know the uses, and very rare, the diagrammatic representation of pedigree chart of autosomal dominant trait or autosomal recessive trait. So maximum question appearing is for 2 marks in this thing. So in today's class, let us try to discuss about genetic disorders. So what are genetic disorder? These are the disorders in human beings which have been found to be associated with inheritance of character due to change or altered genes or chromosome. That is, the diseases inherited from parents to their children, and that is mainly because of there is alteration in gene or there is alteration in chromosomal structure or chromosomal number. So such disorder which have been transferred from one generation to another generation due to alteration in genes or chromosome is what we call it as genetic diseases or genetic disorders. So now let us come for the types of genetic disorder. Genetic disorders are mainly categorized into two groups. What are they? One is Mendelian disorder and the second one is chromosomal disorder. So now let us try to understand about the Mendelian and chromosomal disorder. Mendelian disorder, these are popularly known as monogenic disorders, whereas chromosomal disorders are popularly called as syndromes. So let us see why Mendelian disorders are called monogenic disorder. The main reason to be called here is this Mendelian disorders are caused due to alteration or mutation in single gene. That is, a single nitrogenous base pair may be altered. So, because of which this disorder. So, therefore, since there is alteration in single gene, this Mendelian disorders are popularly called as monogenic disorder. Chromosomal disorders, they are caused either due to addition of chromosome, deletion of chromosome, or either gain or loss of chromosome, that is abnormal arrangement of chromosomes. So therefore they are going to exhibit set of phenotypic expressions. So therefore we call them as syndromes. Third one, Mendelian disorders. They follow Mendelian mode of inheritance. That is, it agrees the laws of Mendel's. Whereas chromosomal disorder, they do not follow Mendelian pattern of inheritance. The other difference is Mendelian disorders can be traced in a family by pedigree analysis. So if you have, for example, sickle cell anemia, if a family has got sickle cell anemia gene, then they can come to know how this is going to be inherited. But chromosomal disorders, it's very difficult to identify through pedigree analysis. The other difference between Mendelian disorders and chromosomal disorder are Mendelian disorders, they may be dominant, they may be recessive, or they may be sex linked, whereas chromosomal disorders are always dominant in nature. That is, if a parent has got, it surely is going to express in offspring. But in Mendelian disorder, it may express if it is dominant, if it is recessive, it may be suppressed, if it is linked through X chromosome, or it can be linked to autosomal chromosome. So anything is possible in Mendelian disorder, but chromosomal disorders are always dominant in nature. The examples for Mendelian and chromosomal disorders. Mendelian disorders, hemophilia, cystic fibrosis, sickle cell anemia, color blindness, phenylketonuria, thalassemia, and so on. Whereas chromosomal disorder, Down syndrome, Turner syndrome, Klinefelter syndrome, Cry-Ducat syndrome, etc. So these are the main differences between the chromosomal and Mendelian disorder. So this can be asked for 2 marks. List out the differences between Mendelian and chromosomal disorders. So this is with regarding to simple introduction to genetic disorder. So now let us try to understand one by one the Mendelian disorders and chromosomal disorders. So to start with, let me go for Mendelian disorder. Under this, we are going to study about hemophilia. So what is hemophilia? Hemophilia is mostly inherited sex-linked recessive genetic disorder that impairs the body ability to make blood clot, a process needed to stop bleeding. In other words, hemophilia is a sex-linked genetic disorder where a person having this disorder cannot have clotting of blood in case even if there is a minute injury. So this is a monogenic disorder. So there's another definition for hemophilia, that is it's a sex-linked recessive trait which shows its transmission from an unaffected carrier female to the male progeny. So therefore usually, in other words, a carrier female, she does not have disease but she has got a gene for this particular disorder which has one gene is present in her. So therefore from female it is going to appear for male progeny. So here we say that hemophilia follows crisscross mode of inheritance. So in a simple term, hemophilia is a gene disorder where an individual cannot clot his blood even in case of a minute injury. So when was this hemophilia discovered? That is in 10th century, the disease was what can say identified, which was described by Abul Cassis, but in a scientific manner in 1803, John Conrad Otto, a Philadelphian physician, recognized this disorder as an hereditary, and he also told that it's affected mostly female and was passed down by healthy females. So that is, males are more commonly known to express this disease and males usually get this disease from a healthy female. So this is how the disorder was being discovered. So now let us see how this disorder is known to be spreading or how it's going to occur. Before that, hemophilia is called as a royal disease. Why this is called as a royal disease? That is, this was prominently discovered or this was prominently found to occur in European royal families. So that's why this is known as royal disease. Queen Victoria, that is the England queen, had undergone mutation for hemophilia B, a type of hemophilia, and this was passed on from her to her son Leopold. Later on, her daughters were also carriers, that is Alice and Beatrice, they were carriers, and when they were married to other royal families of Europe like Spain, Germany and Russia, even this family got this disorder. So therefore, earlier this disorder was more commonly seen in royal families of Europe. Hence this disease is called as a royal disease, but need not be. At present, this is found even in common man. So now let us see the cause for hemophilia. As I told you, it is mainly caused due to presence of X-linked recessive gene. That is, the gene responsible for hemophilia is present on recessive X chromosome. So what is the impact of this? As I told you, because of this recessive gene present, an individual fails to synthesize protein that is required for clotting of blood. So therefore, the major impact is even in case of minute injury, a person who is suffering from hemophilia will not be able to have blood clotting. So therefore, what happens, even a simple simple injury is going to result in continuous bleeding, which will lead for death of an individual. So now, at what rate hemophilia is going to occur? Let us come for occurrence. So hemophilia is rare. It is known to occur only in about one instance for every 10,000 birth. So in male it is 1 in 5,000 male, whereas in female it is once in 10,000. So that is for hemophilia A. if it is hemophilia B, it is 1 in 50,000. So therefore, hemophilia does not occur very common. It's a rare disease. And usually, this hemophilia occurs in male and less often or rare in females. Why? Because you see, females have got two X chromosome, and usually chances of females getting both recessive X chromosome is rare. So therefore, females may not get this disease. But females will get this disease provided both the X chromosomes are recessive. And that is very important. And now let us see with regarding to the types of hemophilia. So this is not required for you in your PU board, but it's just an information for you. Hemophilia is of three types, that is hemophilia A, hemophilia B, and hemophilia C. So hemophilia A occurs due to deficiency of a factor called as 8. We call it as anti-hemophilic globulin. If this factor, the gene responsible for this, if it is not present, then this disorders can cause. Hemophilia B occurs due to the absence or deficiency of factor 9, that is plasma thromboplastin. Hemophilia C occurs due to deficiency of factor 11. So these are the three types of hemophilia, but you need not concentrate more on this. So yes, symptoms is important. What is the symptom in case of a person who has got hemophilia? Very simple, easy bruising and an increased risk of bleeding inside joints or the brain. So therefore this is the major symptom. So it may that's what it may also lead for easy bruising. What is bruising? Most probably the internal blood vessels may break due to high pressure, and as a result of that internal bleeding will be there. So therefore wherever bleeding is there, particularly in joints, when a person tries to bend or move, so chances of leakage will be there in joints, and likewise chances of bleeding will be there in brain. So this is the major symptom. Second thing is hemorrhage or gastrointestinal and urinary tract. So therefore that is in abdominal region, the stomach and intestinal region, there may be bleeding, or in case of urinary tract there may be bleeding. So these are the two major symptoms. So this is the pattern of inheritance of hemophilia. You need not concentrate over this, but this is here to see. For example, here normal male marries a carrier female. You can see one X written by with small h. This is a recessive X chromosome which a female has got. She is called a carrier. So now when this normal man marries a carrier female, you can see in F1 generation, so female is normal, male is normal, but one female is carrier and one male is hemophilic. So usually in this case, female, that is a woman who has got, you can see one XH dominant and one XH recessive. So this woman, she will not have a disease, but surely she has got a gene for hemophilia which she can transfer it to her next generation. So therefore such women are called as carriers. So this is the pattern. So you can just go through this. So that is with regarding to the hemophilia. So let me stop at this stage. We'll continue with sickle cell anemia in the next session. Until then.